we want to discuss now what's the future of trading, right? Because we've seen many times, many times, that other products, other applications have more volume, has more users, has more activity than what we see in our traditional market. And I'm not defending the traditional market, but I'm rather questioning what is allowed, what is not, and we want to discuss that. We saw recently the Tigrinho. Does everybody know the Tigrinho? The casino? So we just saw something on that, and we want to talk a bit about it with you guys. So I'll welcome back Guru to the stage. Please, Guru. Thank you. Salva de palmas, galera. Feel free. Eu queria convidar o Renan, da Derit. Obrigado. And I'd like to invite Oren from Frost and other places. Thank you, sir. You have... Hello. Cool. So I will start with you guys introducing yourselves, but I want to take your take on the state of the market as you guys see it. Renan comes from Derit. They do options, derivatives. B-Cube is regulated in Italy and 2 other countries. And Oren is used with the US market, while B-Cube is in Europe mostly. So I would like to, let you guys introduce yourselves. And after the introduction, we get on to to your views on that.
Hey everyone, I'm Oren. From the US, I spent 5 years working in traditional finance in the US as a derivatives trader. I started off by trading ETFs, and I moved into options soon after. I've traded options on commodities, on equity index, on equities as well. After that experience, I moved over to the crypto world, where I was the head options trader for a large crypto native hedge fund called Pythagoras, where I got to trade volatility on BTC, ETH, and also altcoins, along with doing some
Luna.
Yeah, Luna as well, and also doing some market neutral trades as well, putting on some spreads and whatnot. So yeah, I'll hand it over to Guru.
Thank you. So my name is Guru. Just now you have seen my big introduction. So if I have to make it again for a few people who have just entered here, I'm the co-founder and CEO of B-Cube, where we provide trading, AI-driven trading agents. Fully regulated company from Italy. We do have company in France and Hungary too, and I'm coming from Hungary.
Nice.
Yeah, my name is Renan. I'm the head of Latin America for Derit. Derit is the largest exchange in terms of, derivatives especially. The largest one, especially in terms of options. And yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Cool. So what you guys are seeing in the market right now in terms of trading, and I mean not just trading like what's going on and so on. We just had CPI this morning, but rather how you guys are seeing the trading market, because it's quite sensitive to the stage of the cycle that we are, right, in crypto. So what are you guys are seeing like in each one of your areas as like the main trend or the main observation that you guys are having?
Sure, I can speak a little bit about crypto volatility. So we've all seen the Bitcoin chart. You know, price has been mooning since the start of the year, especially into February after the ETF came out. Middle of March, we kind of ran into a rough patch because we had the 3rd warm CPI print in a row, which, you know, coming into the end of the first quarter, the market was pricing in something like 6 rate cuts out to the end of the year. That completely shifted the pricing down to like 1 rate cut. And the Bitcoin rally kind of lost some steam in the middle of March. The yield on the 10-year treasury has gone up quite a bit as well. It's anti-correlated to the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, despite feeling like it should be digital gold, it trades like a risk asset for now, for better or for worse. I like to look at the Bitcoin options market for a sense of how the market perceives future expected volatility. So back-end volatility, like December or March of next year, hit a high of roughly 80% annualized volatility in BTC. Today it's something like 65.
Yeah, what does that mean? Just so everyone gets it.
Without digressing into a lecture on options pricing, basically, the higher the number, the more the options market expects the price of Bitcoin to move, okay, between now and December or now and next March. So the price of options has gotten cheaper over the past 6 or 8 weeks for Bitcoin and Ethereum because the market is kind of calming down. You know, it was sort of like a mini rally and it lost steam and everyone is kind of holding off on allocating more money. Although, in my experience, this is not a perfect prediction. This options market can obviously be wrong. So, but I'm quite optimistic out to the rest of the year. And I'm not a Fed whisperer. I'm not a Jerome Powell expert, but the bias to cut is clearly present.
Cool. I'm super bullish on BTC.
And how you're seeing the activity overall as well? Like the trading activity, how you're seeing that going on right now?
I'm super bullish on BTC. I know quite recently we had some troubles with SEC and everything that's going on. I think markets are also watching the US elections very closely. Maybe if Donald Trump just made a statement that he's positive about crypto. So maybe if he comes back to the power and if he fires Gary Gensler and brings a very crypto-friendly SEC president, then things can be something different. So I think there is a bit of hope on that way because crypto is based on hope and narratives, right? So there is a bit of hope on that side because we were seeing the same kind of patterns when the ETF talks started. And after it was actually happening, we again saw the new high. And then we saw the dump. Everybody are saying like it's pretty common after the halving, so it will dump and it will go back. Maybe the historical events are repeating, or maybe it's not repeating. But if we see the overall global scenario, especially in Hong Kong, the ETF trading started quite recently. I think even Germany is discussing the same thing. Some of my German friends were discussing with me that, yeah, even the regulator is thinking about that, BaFin. So I think it's getting a kind of trend now for all the countries to have an ETF. So that's kind of like an indirect entry. They want to get into crypto on a very high level. So this trend and this kind of narratives will keep it very hot. And also, I mean, if SEC chairman is the real issue here, he shoots down everything. He behaves like a S-400, if you know the anti-missile defense system, or Patriot, like in United States. He shoots down everything. So I think someone have to shoot him down for the industry to prosper. And I'm expecting that to happen if there is a change in the government.
Yeah, I see that something like that happening because they haven't been. So Aaron actually spoke about this in the State of the Market opening that there's not a politicization of the pricing and so on, but there's a political finance going on around all this. And how you're seeing the activity on Derit and all that is going on?
Yeah, from the exchange point of view, I believe that for now we are seeing a lot more institutionals coming in. That's a movement that we haven't seen before. We have seen a few institutional players, but not with the appetite they are at the moment. Especially here in Brazil, we see traditional banks coming in, institutional houses coming in, and well, it's extremely bullish for us. In terms of the pricing, I heard Oren telling us a little bit about how bullish he is. But I do see also, I mean, we talk a lot about, especially with miners, and miners are usually selling calls. So and that's something that holds off the sort of a eventual spike. So we do see a lot of miners trying to make more money some other way because, well, the revenue have been cut in half. So that's something to keep in mind. Obviously, we're all bullish, but one of the most traded contracts in our platform is the sell calls. People are selling call like never before. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, and so everyone knows when you're selling an option, you are making money on the spot, and there is a risk to the other side. And you are buying it, you are just taking a position either to the upside or downside with less than other exposures. Now, okay, so you all guys gave us your views on pricing, where you seeing the market going. I think everyone here kind of agrees on that. On the regulation part, we've seen, as you said, Guru, many participants looking into it. We have seen the US, Brazil is way ahead on a bunch of things. But specifically regarding to trading, we see some of these regulators trying to protect the investor, right? And but at the end of the day, that's not always the case. Well, it's not the same type of products, not the same industry or market in itself, but it considers the same audience. And what I'm talking about is the Tigrinho, right? It's a betting, it's a casino thing. Everyone has access to it, and they're always losing to the house. That's the definition of it. So at the end of the day, people are going to those venues because they want to, well, have some chance and then try a 50x, 100x, like over a couple weeks, you know. But when we talk about crypto, we see that there is a bit of that degeneracy, that gambling feeling to some of what happens in crypto. So what I want to talk with you guys about is, what are the tools, like what can we do to make these guys feel safer? Not only these guys, I mean the user, the regulators, because we as industry, we move faster than the regulator. It will always be like that. But we need to work close to them to educate and show like, hey, that type of product is like not the best and people are having access to it. This other one is way more interesting. But we have other stuff related to that. But what are the tools, like what are the good practices that the industry is applying, be either in your companies, be either how you see it from the trading perspective, running a desk and so on. So
I can start on that one. We were actually talking about this right before we came in. I was talking to Oren about this. Obviously, there is the aspect that the regulator will protect the market, but it's not always how it happens, as we already know. FTX happened, and they were the ones who were closer to Game Gensler and the regulator. So we have to know who is actually trying to help and who is not, or who isn't. So for the specific gambling part, obviously there are products and meme coins, and there are a lot of things that you can actually gamble on. So daily options, for instance, it's a lottery ticket. So if you buy an extremely out of the money option call, it's a gamble. You're gambling, but it's fine. I mean, you know what you're doing at least. It's not a scam. It's just like a lottery ticket. On the other hand, on a casino, it's completely different, especially if it's
crypto casino.
Exactly, Tigrinho or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But from the regulation standpoint, obviously, we have to do a lot of things, especially after what happened with FTX. The entire market has changed and grew a lot, and regardless if the regulator is playing a role or not, we were going to do it anyways because that's what the industry asked for. So now we have, Merkle tree, proof of reserve, proof of liability, a lot of those that sometimes we don't even have on a traditional market. We have auto liquidation. That's something that we don't have in a traditional market. We have market 24/7, also something that we don't have in a traditional market. I mean, there are so many things. We're winning by far. But still, apart from that, I think that there are many things that we're doing to get the environment more mature. Like for instance, we are partnering with Fidelity for custody, which is something that we have never thought about a few years ago. So the institutional players are actually coming in, and it's really good. I think it's inevitable if you think about it.
It's a journey, right? It's a progress.
As he said, like I totally agree with him. Buying meme tokens, it's buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
If you win it, yes, you win 1000x or 500x or whatever it is. If you lose completely. At least in this way, you can have a pride of being a crypto investor. Because if you buy a lottery ticket, I don't know what they call them as gamblers, right? Yeah, it's much worse. Yeah, so exactly. Let them be in the crypto trading space, and they can buy meme tokens. How we see our products for these kind of people is that we introduced quite recently the futures trading. But actually, it was not possible for us to launch this product in France, so we had to migrate to Italy for that, for regulations thing. When we moved in Italy, like we launched the first product, and that's performing very good. If someone is a gambler, then they can have like 20x, 30x on the same strategy. And if one strategy average returns is like 1.52% per trade. So if they're having 2x, they're making 40% per trade. So this product can fit into the gambler categories, what we are seeing. And I also I know these type of people exist, and I saw what happened with meme tokens and everything. That's why like in my upcoming next project of perpetual trading DEX, we will be having 1000x leverage. So
any move is...
Yeah. Any move is like literally liquidated,
like,
or
you literally need to be right. Like,
yeah. So I think like these kind of innovative products can bring people who are gamblers into something else. And maybe when they come here, if not everybody, at least few people will understand the importance of investments, importance of trading, and they can come to mainstream crypto in this way. That's what I believe.
Cool. Well, I think I'd like to see the regulators pursue more of the path of going after people who outright scam other people. So I'm sure everyone here has been rugged one time on a coin. It's like a rite of passage in crypto. It's essentially illegal, but it's not very well prosecuted in the United States. But those are the kinds of scenarios that I'd like to see regulators really apply a lot of manpower to. When I think about protecting retail, if people want to gamble in the traditional markets, if they want to trade S&P 500 futures, they pay less than 1 basis point of spread to get into that position. And that's probably one of the most efficient markets in the world. So, they're taking on quite a bit of variance, but they have next to zero expected value over the next, few hours or few days. Ironically, if someone wants to gamble, that's the place to do it because you get the tightest market in the world. If you look at something like a sports book, you start to see a VIG or like a house cut of like 2-3% or more, depending on what it is. I haven't played Tigrinho, not yet. But I'll probably check it out later and lose all my money.
Send some pics there.
I have peaks now, so it makes it easier. I don't know what kinds of spreads they charge. But the other thing I would say is, it might make sense for regulators to also kind of limit leverage because really what blows up people when they do this is poor bankroll management. So, you can, if you put on a 1000x levered position and it moves against you by 11 basis points, you're liquidated, right? Or over 10 bips. But that can be ordinary variance in something like Bitcoin. So I think that I'd like to see less regulation on some of the retail-facing stuff, more pursuit of illegal activity like outright scams. And then finally, maybe offer, I saw Evgeny, who's the CEO of Wintermute, post this on Twitter the other day, maybe let people opt out of regulations. Yeah. You know, have some more stringent regulations, give them some like basic statistics PDF for them to read and acknowledge, and then sign something that says, okay, like I agree to lose all my money.
Really difficult to happen.
What's that?
Really unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just to complete, on the strategy, obviously there is the speculation, the gamble sort of the side, but also there is the investment side. So, for instance, a covered call, it's a win. So if you want to sell the Bitcoin at 100K, you can simply do a cover call to sell Bitcoin at 100K, and if it doesn't happen, you make money anyways.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah, it's like betting on Vasco to lose. It's a win. It's a for sure.
No, but yeah, like at the end of the day, I guess that people kind of look for that type of sophistication, but they don't have access to it, right? Structured products and all of that stuff. But I was curious about one thing that Guru said, so I'll direct this question to you, and if you guys have anything to add, please do. If I understood correctly, you guys are regulated to offer derivatives in Italy. That's crypto derivatives as well. How does that work? Like, what are maybe the main lessons that we could take from it, that we could maybe apply in a place like Brazil?
Yeah, actually in Europe there is a blanket ban on all the derivatives trading. Like any exchange which is providing the services within the borders of European Union, all the 27 countries, it's prohibited. They can't do that. And that's the reason like no exchange provides any derivative services. But we are finding a loophole there. The loophole is that there are some exchanges which is not present in Europe. So they don't fall under the jurisdiction of European Union. So they are somewhere in China, they are somewhere there. For example, HTX, Huobi, they don't have it. But they did this smart thing quite recently. They came to also Italy and they got registered there. And they're still providing derivatives from their parent company, which is in China. Okay. So we are providing derivatives through them. And if regulator is asking us, then we will tell them, like, you are the one who have licensed this in the same country where we are present. So we are using another licensed company just like us. Yeah. So we can play these type of things. But if you're asking a straight question whether derivatives is legal or not, in Europe, it's completely illegal.
Okay,
it's not possible.
It's not possible right now.
No, it's not possible.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of happens in Brazil as well. But
well, derivatives. On that, we have just acquired a license, a derivatives license in Dubai, which is something that the plan is to replicate that to other jurisdictions, and Europe is one of those. But the way we're going to do it is we're going to either buy or set up a broker. So the broker would route the orders to our exchange in Dubai, and that's the regulated way of doing it. And the plan is to do this here in Brazil as well. And we're studying paths to have this, regulated derivatives product, crypto here. We do have it with B3 now, but the settlement is in Real, and you have to go through B3 to do it. So we're trying to do something more crypto native and also regulated, which we can't run away from nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And I think that's the main message here. At the end of the day, we want to advance the industry. We want to educate the traders and people that are curious about that. So I would say that maybe even the case of the betting houses are against the interests of the crypto people. Like when we want to advance this, they're just the house just always wins, and you rarely make out with some money. So I think that the main message is that what we are trying to do is to advance the industry. We want to talk to advance alongside with the regulators and bring this in a safe fashion so people can have access to it. Because what we have seen so far is that people will always find a way to get access to what they want to. So it's I wouldn't say it's smarter, but it's more beneficial to be proactive towards that and allow people to have access to it. So with that, I would like to open for a couple questions from you guys so we can move on to our launch.
Thank you. Regarding options trading, when it comes to fungible crypto assets such as NFTs, how do you guys see the evolution of the options markets regarding those assets?
Options on NFTs, that's your question?
Yeah.
Just make sure I heard you right. Well, I think it's interesting. I think it's a difficult thing. If you look at current options markets, the underlier is always on a fungible token, whether it be BTC, ETH, traditional market, futures, whatever it may be, stocks. You know, it's thinking from the perspective of the market maker, it's kind of tricky to hedge those options that they're quoting if the underlier is not fungible. I get, yeah. Do you have a follow-up on that? Do you want? Sure.
So I think there was a.
Thank you. It's just that, like, when it comes to those futures and derivatives that we are seeing nowadays, now we have derivatives for points and derivatives for tokens that haven't been launched yet. So I've been thinking that maybe as this market evolves, there's probably going to be more, you know, sophisticated instruments to hedge positions and such.
Yes, for sure. Like in terms of hedging and all, like there is a few solutions, but when we talk about the NFTs and like creating liquidity for it, it'd be either through the fractionalization of it or like a full NFT. We have seen examples like of NFT perps where people set up pools and set up like the floor price and a few rules to make sure that that goes through. And like the model that I see on, for example, how is it called again? The trading points exchange.
I believe Wales Market is the name, right?
Wales Market, yeah. So the way I see, well, from what I could learn from them is that you basically need to put up some collateral to take to sell your tokens or something like that. So it's actually just an exchange of capital flow. So you're advancing the money that you would get on that airdrop, and in the meantime, you just sell it on the spot. I mean, on the spot price that it's at, on the price that is at that moment. That's more correct. And then you escape, let's say, the volatility of that token after its launch or something like that. So I think that to come to TradFi, it will take a while, but we are seeing more and more advancements on these models, on how they do it. But well, for sure, liquidity fragmentation is a problem. It would need to be solved at some point through some type of protocol layer or something like that. But we are seeing these advancements in crypto, but I would say that they could take like 5 to 10 years to get into the traditional economy.
Just want to add one thing. I think one interesting thing could be something like options on the floor price of an NFT collection, because then it's easier for a market maker to hedge those options. They can trade any one of the NFTs in the basket against it. So maybe that could be kind of a more liquid
yeah, exactly. Especially since now there are ways to, you know, negotiate NFTs without having to purchase the NFT, because there are, you know, perp contracts on the floor price.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that one of the issues for that, it could definitely be 5 to 10 years from now, and perhaps it's really difficult because one of the reasons is the retail client of the options retail client is a different kind of retail. It's a more sophisticated client. So he is looking for other things, and the market maker, in order for them to make, they have to have somebody else on the on the other side taking it. And if there's no volume there, no liquidity, it's just not interesting for the market maker either. So I just see it's difficult to take place. Just for now, for instance, in our platform, our two main coins are Bitcoin and ETH because we have institutional appetite. We trade over $1 billion a day on each one, and the other ones, even Solana, which is quite large in terms of market cap, it doesn't trade as much. Solana, Matic, and XRP, those that are common known to the main public, it's not really traded because it's simply not there. The appetite is not there. So to have NFT options, I think we're a long way from it, but it can definitely happen.
So you would say that fungibility is one of the main issues?
I say the not the fungibility, the appetite is the main issue.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Hi guys, thank you for the speech. I think this discussion is really important for all the people to know and understand how is the market now. But you guys speak a lot about trading, Guru, about sentimental trading, and I want to know, how do you look to the fundamentals? You think that these really perform? Because we see projects like Solana and Avalanche that has really good fundamentals performing really well, but you see another projects that are big, good fundamentals, and they just don't perform because of the narrative. I see more projects performing about the narrative than the fundamentals. How do you see that?
It's a hard question. I would say price is the king of all the king of all narratives. Okay, so I don't have a great answer for you. I think the market likes to. There's a certain attention economy in crypto, right? There's RWA is a hot narrative, DPIN's a hot narrative. There's certain projects within these sectors that are very hot, like Ondo. Yeah. Ondo has something like a $10 billion FTV, which is quite interesting. Yeah. But ultimately what determines prices are supply and demand. And I think a lot of what moves the demand for these tokens is attention in the crypto universe.
Yeah. Look, to be very honest, I don't think crypto market is about fundamentals. Nobody cares about it. There are more number of layer 1s and layer 2s than actual number of users, right? Every week there is a new layer 1 or layer 2 which is coming in. People get excited, they buy it, they dump it, they make money, and they just move on to the next one. It's like, like a teenager moving from one relationship to another one. Exactly, this is what happens. So we should not look for fundamentals. There is no such thing as fundamentals here. Brutally honest. We can say like, okay, certain things will have a use case, it has a revenue share, it has this, it has that, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's a good story, but honestly, I don't know, just by looking at it on the face value, like why meme token should even have any value if you're speaking about the fundamental side. Because I come from TradeFi and we used to do fundamental analysis based on earnings, forward earnings, EPS, dividend yield. We used to take several things into consideration to price a stock, like why this should appreciate so much. But you can't make that kind of analysis. Of course, like now crypto people are also trying to make about the token unlocks, the burn, and how do you reduce the supply and everything, which is crypto equivalent of TradeFi analysis. But still, for me, like most of the tokens, they don't have any intrinsic value because there are some nice tools. For example, you have to try this, what is that, Llama. It's a very good tool to see how much revenue a DeFi or someone is making. And if you see that nearly 80 to 90% of the companies that are bleeding, they're not making any money. Solana also, they're not making money. They're losing a lot. How are they surviving? They're surviving because they have huge market cap. They dump the tokens, they make the money. And this is how all these, projects are surviving, to be honest. So searching for fundamentals in crypto in an absolute sense, like in equities or something else, It's like searching for the black cat in the room which doesn't exist. So I don't think it's about fundamentals really, but it's about the trend, it's about the narrative. It's a trend is your friend. If there is a trend of deep in, just go for it. If there is a trend of AI, just go for it. If there is a trend of something else which is coming tomorrow, RWA or something, like just go for it. That's it. You will make money in that one.
Yeah, perfect answer. And I think that happens now. I agree totally. Now the crypto market is all about narrative, but I think there is a path when it gets more mature and turns really a third asset class like the stock market, that we're gonna see really more fundamentals, and we're going to invest in tech companies between crypto. So by crypto, we're going to invest in these companies. That's really nice. Thank you.
So in the same sense, talking about narratives and fundamentals, I do believe in that, because today we see like a big project with big founding and big rewards, and they're like being beaten by a meme because it is a dog with a hat. It's not fundamental, doesn't have recipe, and like it's crazy. But right now the markets, I just keep thinking about the future. What do you think about the future? Will be like the market will value the fundamentals on the future, or you believe that will be like forever this narrative stuff and dog with hats and dog with different dogs and cats and that stuff's in the top lead valorization?
If I can just make a quick comment, I think that overall we have the fundamentals in crypto are completely different from the equity markets. It doesn't exist in the same sense. You don't have cash flow. Like it's very hard. Like some projects just don't do that. I think we live in a moment of pumpamentals. Like what is pumping the token, right? In terms of fundamentals in the future, it's a different thing that needs to be set up, right? Some people are talking, like some VCs are talking about fundamentals in memes, right? So we're right now in a meta on the meme super cycle or whatever. But I think that's just a function or a reflection of what people are seeing in the economy, and they're just, well, fuck all of this. I'm gonna put my money there because I maybe will get rich, because a friend of mine bought $15 and made like $1 million. You know, so it's the same thing with the Tigrinho. It's like people trying to find a way to make money fast, because as we talked here yesterday, like the USD is not well seen. You know, like people are moving away from it, so they get into crypto just the narrative, just to through the fundamentals, and then they move on to the other thing. I think in the future, yes, we will see some stuff, but I think that will be very segmented by industry, by applications, and so on.
I agree with the same what Antonio said, but just to add a little bit more, I think crypto markets are very new. It's in a very nascent phase. So I think like as we move forward, things can get more mature, and things can change a little bit. But if any project has to be very successful on the long run, they should be solving a very huge problem, a real problem. But often we see like problem being created by the same people and then trying to solve it. But that's not how it should work. There is a huge problem that needs to be solved. For example, if you're speaking about decentralized finance, the UX is it's not so friendly. The UI looks like very difficult to access. It's not easy for everybody to have wallets, to connect their wallets, and to make the transactions. And if you see SUI, S-U-I, blockchain, they provide all the Web3 with Web2 interface. You can log in through your Gmail account or something, but still it's happening on the Web3. So these kind of blockchains and these kind of solutions will have value because they are minimizing the friction for masses to come to blockchain. Otherwise, like just having MetaMask, Trust Wallet or something, it's not for everybody, it's for geeks. Even some very smart people sometimes try to send the money to their friends, but they don't know which chain it is. They send to the wrong chain and they lose money. And it often happens. So I think UX UI is something like which needs to improve a lot in crypto field for it to go mainstream. Secondly, you're speaking about memes and everything. Memes, like there is another type of discussion because memes are a kind of culture for many people. It's like all the meme people, they believe that like they belong to one community. I was listening to very big angel investors in Dubai in Token 2049. Even Santiago believes in meme tokens and he invests in meme tokens, like such a big angel investor. Like there was even Renan, the YouTuber. So all these people really believe in it because they believe it's a kind of like a revolution, it's a kind of like movement, it's a kind of identity everybody has, which was a similar narrative what we saw in NFTs also. Like they were thinking like Bored Ape Yacht Club, it's for elite class people, so they were all they were all one community and everything, and now we know what happened. You know, like yes, even if you see the company, what was that one? Yuga Labs, $400 million was invested in the company in the seed stage at a $4 billion valuation. Who led the round? A16Z. So A16Z was bullish on NFTs. If there was a perpetual trading DEX at that point in time for NFTs, I would have shorted with 1000x. Because I was knowing like these monkey pictures have no value. But NFT is a very great technology, by the way. I'm not saying anything about the NFT technologies, but I'm just saying about a dog with the hat, a frog with, I don't know, something else. So whatever it is. So that's my take.
Cool. Okay, guys, thank you, everyone. Thank you all for the talk. We went a bit over, but I think that trading is it's a subject that everyone loves for one reason or the other. So, well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Galera, quem ainda não ganhou as roupinhas da Ethereum Rio,